How's that, Dave?
I'm ready.
Yeah?
Okay.
Oh boy, he's ready.
So,
Are we ready?
how do we start this?
I don't know. Can we just talk like this, Dave, or do we have to be loud?
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
So, are you recording now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're good.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Chuck, when we were doing the build, you told me a bit about your grandparents, and you told me about how you had learned how to build canoes. Can you tell me more about it?
There's not much more to tell. I just remember all the grandchildren being asked to come and help,
Yeah.
and out of 12, I'm the only one that lasted the longest. What I found ironically funny now is my grandparents' teaching styles, how it varies from one to the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the old man, him, if you didn't catch on the first time, he moved on without you.
Yeah.
And I've ran into so many teachers after going to school that were like that.
Uh-huh.
You know, not very many that took the time to explain what they're doing.
Right.
But
It was
that-
the task-oriented.
Yeah,
get it done.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially my chemistry teacher, Amy was like that. And so it made me think of my grandfather when I was in this class.
Yeah.
But then my grandmother was a different story.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she'd actually take you aside, be patient, and explain to you why we're doing what we're doing. And for instance, we're, is it 7 o'clock?
It's 7:01. Look at that.
7:01. They lied.
Keep
Yeah,
going for a minute, or do you have to put your equipment away?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah, your grandma.
yeah, so she was, you know, my hero, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because of her, I continued learning,
Right.
and because I didn't like the other way of
Right.
learning. Yeah,
She
yeah,
was patient with you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so now when I came back to doing birch bark stuff, it wasn't canoes, it was the containers, baskets.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got so good at it that I ended up at the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C.
Oh, neat.
But that was to pay homage to her.
Right.
Yeah, because
She made
after
that.
her passing in, I think it was 88, nobody mentioned her anymore. You know, and she was 50% of the canoe making team.
Right.
And so I decided to do this on my own, and then I mean, I got pretty good at it, as you may well know now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as more, than I mean,
Well,
she was my universe, kind of.
yeah.
Yeah, she was more of a mother than my mom.
Than your mom.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I'm really struck by in hearing about your grandma is what I can't help but think and notice, having done the build with you, is you really have her same style. You know?
Well, I would hope to think.
Yeah. You were so patient with everybody, and the way that you, you would tell people what to do, you would show them a little bit, and you would let them work.
Yeah.
You know, and you would step in when you needed to, or when things needed correcting or changing a bit.
Yeah.
But you really gave people space to learn.
Yeah, and I owe it all to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though it didn't come automatic. I guess it
Right.
was kind of built in, unintentionally.
Unintentionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to do, Dave? Move under the
Right.
tree? No?
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
there's no big umbrella?
We might.
I got a big umbrella.
Let's.
Oh, it might hold off, eh?
It might. Hard to say.
It's just,
Yeah.
okay. Well, put the canoe.
I'll keep going. Yeah, I was thinking that we should sit under the
Keep
canoe.
going.
Chuck, there's something I wanted to go back to though, and that was when you were talking about that there were 12 grandkids, and they gave you you all were working, were helping,
Yeah.
and you were the only one that kept going. I was just curious. I wanted to go right back to those moments, or I wanted to picture what kinds of jobs would they get you doing? How could 12 grandkids be
God.
helping?
Well, it was from lashings
Yeah.
to splitting root. Actually, it came down to splitting the cedar after, which is what my grandmother did.
Yeah.
If you can imagine a small little woman there's just grabbing that cedar and ripping it apart.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really ripping it, it was just working it.
Yeah.
Working it, and then like you've seen the sheeting last year, we're getting down to pretty thin, and that's getting inside the rings, and then that's what she'd do.
She'd do
yeah,
all of
she
that
was so
work.
patient,
Yeah.
and then telling me stories about growing up with her family and how they
Right.
learned from their father, and so on down the line.
Yeah.
And it was just so amazing.
So it was
But-
really passed down.
There was a time to that we didn't do canoes like in the wintertime, let's say. And then she taught me how to knit snowshoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the old man had me do the wood part, and then I seen him do that, and
Yeah,
kind
and
of
she would
learned
do
that.
all of the.
And she'd do all the knitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like him, she taught me a very valuable lesson. And I had made a mistake right at the beginning when I was knitting the snowshoe. And then she let me finish, and it didn't finish right. And I says, Gramps, what's going on? She says, that's because you made a mistake right at the beginning. I says, why didn't you tell me then? She says, well, you go through it, and now you've seen the mistake yourself.
Right.
Now you'll never do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And-
so I reached for the knife, and she said, no. She said, it took you an hour and a half to knit the inside, the middle. And she said, it's going to take you an hour and a half to take it apart because we only have enough babiche, they called it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a very valuable lesson. My grandfather, 25 years later, did the same thing
Oh my goodness.
on a canoe, though.
Uh-huh.
Okay, because
Yeah.
there's that little family secret that we have, and on the one I made, I forgot about that. And so all the lashings were done, and we're getting ready to move on. Like, let's say put on the round ends.
Wait, this is your grandfather.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay. We're getting this.
so there he waited till I guess we're done lashing now. And so he called me over, and then we sat beside each other about half an hour. And then because he went blind in one eye, he was still able to see that mistake. And he looks over at me. He says, "Chuck, you forgot a step."
Oh my.
And then he says, "You forgot our family secret."
Uh-oh.
And then half hour goes by. And I go, I got to take it all apart, and he grabs. Had to take all the lashings.
Everything.
Every lashing.
Oh no.
And then I says, how come you didn't
That's
tell
no
me?
small
Well,
business.
why didn't you tell me an hour ago?
Yeah.
He says, well, you'll never make that mistake
You'll
again.
never make that mistake again.
And sure enough.
You know, I don't remember you doing that with us as students, though.
No, but I did. I don't know if it was you guys, but a couple of times I tell that story, and then I said, would you like me to teach you like that? No.
No.
Wow. Okay, it just proves my point is, you know, I don't want to be cruel like them. I'm not. It's not really cruel. It's just a very effective form of teaching, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah, and you don't forget. 'Cause,
You don't forget.
Yeah, it reminds me of, I guess, my childhood as well as the younger generation is they have to learn for themselves. You know, you
Experience
can't
it.
always do it for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's I think that was the most important lesson that the two of them have taught me.
Yeah.
But she taught me this like 25, 30 years ago. You know,
Yeah.
and it was ironic that he used the same technique.
The same lesson.
Yeah, all those years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my, taking apart all that
Because it's
lashing,
been
I
what
can't
now,
imagine.
14 years since I've been doing this full time,
Yeah.
and that was the first year. No, so 13 years ago,
Yeah.
he taught me that lesson, or he told me that lesson.
I just realized too the difference as well. You know that the thing that your grandparents had, or that they were able to give you in that experience, is that they knew that you were going to be, you know, building more canoes, or that you were going to have that other, you know, another one.
Yeah.
To kind of down the line.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm thinking if you were doing that kind of teaching with us, then you know that it would be a long time.
Yeah,
till
yeah, we
got
would have been
you in the
here
canoe.
all summer.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
that's a bit of a difference there.
Yeah.
But that whole process.
Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is, and every canoe, I learned something new myself. I learned something new about my helpers. Yeah, and for instance, I have this old gentleman, he's 91 years old. He's from Poland, no, he's from Denmark. And I asked him, do you remember Princess Margaret? And he goes, yeah, she's our queen now. I said, so she's still living? Yes. Why do you ask me that? I says, well, I almost went to Copenhagen with my grandparents to build a canoe.
Yeah.
And we were there in like 75-ish, 80.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't go because I was in school. So they went over there and they built the canoe for the princess, well, who's the queen now
Oh, right.
of Denmark.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
And so we kind of made a connection there.
Yeah.
And this guy, it's like his wife passed on and he kind of gave up in life, you know. But since the canoe build, he's there every day and he loves what he's doing. And even though he's volunteering, I mean, it's
Yeah.
one of the best helpers I've had,
Yeah.
you know?
And with our build too, like I'm just thinking there were so many people we didn't know. I mean, certainly, you and I didn't know one another, but everybody who's here, we didn't know one another. A few people on the build had met before.
Yeah, Mary and I.
Yeah, and I'm thinking what a community experience that was.
Yeah.
And people would drop in for the day,
Yeah.
and other people were there for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then some.
Yeah.
And I thought of that in general, like you must see that at every build, as you say, you're learning from people. But do you see commonalities with why people come to builds? Like, do you see something that draws people to a build?
In non-Indigenous people, I see.
Maybe a bit of both.
Yeah, well, for that non-Indigenous community, it would be more of a curiosity. I think it's picking up speed as far as like the truth and reconciliation aspect of the canoe build, because what better way to reconcile through the canoe?
Yes.
And so this canoe, it's like a magnet; it draws them in. Then I get my day in the sun, if you want, and I get to brag about the Indigenous culture, and then, well, you learn from me now. Tell me a bit about yourself.
Right.
Yeah, but Indigenous people now, it's having lived on the reserve, there was always such a feeling of despair, especially the ones that didn't get along with the chief, and that was the government's way of trying to, again, breed the native out of us, and then they'll get rid of our hereditary chieftainship.
Right.
Yeah, because through that the women were very strong.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they noticed that, and that's why they I guess formed the Indian Act, which
Put their own people in.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so now that with this elected system, it only benefited so many people,
Right.
and so the rest are like bottom feeders,
Right.
and it's such a feeling of despair, which is why probably a lot of them turn to addictions, or they have addictions. Yeah.
And alcohol and all
Yeah,
kinds of
so when we're out there, when I see that, and finally they feel a sense of pride in
Yes.
the people, especially in the kids,
things. Right.
And like one of my apprentices, Coleman Williams, he was, I think, 20 years old when I first started showing him, and his mother noticed a difference in him right away. He wasn't turning to drinking and drugs anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
You had something to be proud of.
He had something to
Yeah.
be proud of. But after the third build, the interest started to go. Why? I understand why. His first child was going to be born. Yeah.
So you had other
Yeah.
other things coming.
Yeah, but then all of
Yeah.
a sudden the interest came back. But by then, I had to get somebody else to replace him. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
I said, Pullman, you possess the knowledge now. Do you go out and do? Even if you make mistakes. And then I took on a friend of mine up in Bancroft, Stephen, and he had been following me now for 5-6 canoe builds. And finally, 2 winters ago, he took that step and made his own, and he wasn't happy with it. Well, I said, why? He said, well, it doesn't look like yours. Well, of course not. I've been doing this since I was
For a long time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you build off of that.
Right. You
But
keep
now,
going.
but now
Yeah.
it's your opportunity to either show your kids or you show the young ones in the community.
Right.
Yeah, which is what I was told right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Not from anyone living. This is the messages I was getting from beyond.
Right.
Yeah, and then an old Cree elder told me, build them and they'll come. Yeah, and so that's what I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this is the differences, or to get back to your question, this is what I see happening with the native culture and the non-native culture. Yeah,
Both people being drawn to the builds for different reasons.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And like around here, I know it's mostly Iroquois, Haudenosaunee people.
Yeah.
They somehow want to be tied to the canoe building, but unfortunately they weren't Birch Bark canoe builders. They were canoe builders in their own right.
Right. A different type.
A different type, different bark, different material.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is probably why there was a lot of trading going back and forth for the canoes and whatever
Yes.
we needed from them.
Yeah. It would make
Because
sense.
there's a friend of mine there, Tim Johnson, who was the executive director for the National Museum of the American Indian, which was where I went to do the basket workshop.
To the Smithsonian.
Yeah, and a few months back, he made a joke about how his canoes, I guess the elm tree bark, could sink mine. if they ever collided.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and I said,
You just wanna try it?
I said to Tim, I says, yeah, that's probably true, but you'd have to catch me first.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing.
Because mine is so light. I mean, 10 paddles to your one,
Yeah.
or 10 paddles of yours to one of mine.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking every canoe everywhere, it's the pros and cons, or the balance.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to something that you've mentioned a few times or touched on a few times. You were talking about your grandma, but then also talking about women having power historically.
Yeah.
And there's a connection there in a way. Sounds like your grandma was a force, in her own right.
Right.
But also, just this connection to women building. And I noticed that when we were building, there were a lot of women drawn to it, and even Lumina, wanting my daughter, wanting to really be part. So yeah, can you speak to that a little bit, or?
Well, since I've been on this path, if you want, the spiritual path, this is what the elders, they teach us. And it all has to do with balance in life and the medicine wheel. Because if you're familiar with the medicine wheel, they say that there's 4 levels, and the first one is the child, and then it's the knowledge keepers, the elders, the grandmas, grandpas, uncles, aunts. They're on the second ring. The third ring, that's the women, where they oversee all that's happening inside those 2 first rings, and the protectors of the children. And then on the outside is the men. And the men, they're usually the providers, but they're the protectors too, the warriors. They'll make sure that nothing gets in that circle. Yeah, and so that's what we were taught. The messages I've been getting to is, when I do canoe builds, is to always include a female. And up until a certain point, I read about this, and then I started seeing pictures. Most recently, I seen a picture of my great-grandparents.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
I never knew my great-grandmother, but I knew my great-grandfather. My grandmother's parents, and she died when it was just after I was born, I think. But when I look at the pictures, there was the 2 of them, they're standing beside a canoe they had made.
Right.
And that kind of confirmed what I'd been reading and what I thought. Is when kids were born into the family, the parents were building canoes.
Right.
So the kids are right there, whether it's with mom or dad. And so they start really at a young toddler age knowing that information, knowing that those techniques or that trade. And then all of a sudden now, the young girl and the young boy grow up, they meet each other. Well,
How do you get around?
yeah, well, how do you get around? So they both possess that knowledge, and then all of a sudden they're building canoes as a family.
Yeah.
And then there's that balance again, male and female.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they have kids. And well, then you see pictures of them building a canoe. Kids are right there, whether they're getting into mischief or they're paying attention. Yeah.
But they're part of that process, whether they know it or not.
Yeah.
Just watching that osmosis.
But see, now that's another lesson I learned is be careful what you say around children. I said they could be 10, 20, 30 feet down a little bit, and they're in tune with what you're saying, even though they look like they're not paying attention.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it kind of all ties in together now with the canoe building. Yeah, so.
Yeah, for good and bad, they're taking in whatever you say.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so I think around the canoe, because maybe not so much then, but now we take that as a ceremony. Yeah, so maybe it was ceremony then too, because then you're building the family vehicle, right?
Yeah.
And so, and that's where that male and female
Comes into it.
it comes into it. Yeah.
Hey, now tell. Yeah.
Let's talk and talk.
Yeah, well, it's all fascinating for me. So I'm just, and and some of parts of these conversations we've had before, but there's always something new. And I'm just thinking, oh yeah, because I picture you learning, and I picture you with your grandparents, and for some reason that image keeps coming back to me of the kids, And I guess another thing I thought of is, if there were 12 grandkids helping, and you were the one that was left out of those 12, what quality do you think that you had that those kids didn't? Why did you stick around?
What?
And that's
to
a funny
be,
way to ask it,
to
because I
be
know
quite
you're
frank,
not a bold, person, but you're a modest person. But in that sense of, yeah, why?
I think it was the fact that I felt my grandmother more than my mother, and
It was that connection.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like being around her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then you become this rebellious teenager, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I know nothing about that.
So we kind of parted ways for a while.
Yeah.
And then just to come back, maybe, I don't know, 10, 20 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so got close again, and then she ended up passing away in, I think it was 88,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little sooner. I don't remember now exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that's the main driving factor,
Yeah.
the reason why we were the way we were, or the reason why I continued learning.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kept on was because of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I thought most of her theories or beliefs were nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Later on in life, I came to understand. For instance, when we used to go and harvest, she'd leave coins
Right.
in the woods.
Yeah.
Did I tell you that?
No, but I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then years later, that was her way of giving back to
Right.
the earth.
Yeah.
But also was a way of her honoring the little people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then later on in life, I came to understand that. And the person that I was with when we were doing the Smithsonian thing, we got pretty close as far as like the craft was concerned, and she kind of brought me back to the red road, the red path. And then we'd go on this piece of land that we had bought up in, is it Opiongo Road?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
know if you know
up
where.
there, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was the highest peak in the whole area, and then we go and leave like little ceramic teapot sets or tea sets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you go back the next day and they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
I remember you talking about this before about
Yeah.
the little people. Yeah, because that's something that you don't. People, it's known about, but people don't talk much about it anymore.
No,
So it's
no,
nice.
they think it's
refreshing to talk
mostly
about.
folklore. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but us, we believe that they have the ability to come in and out of the spirit world, which is why we very rarely see them.
Yes.
And the same thing applies to Sabe, Sasquatch. He has the ability to come in and out of the spirit world. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we're ready, he'll expose himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's in a few different traditions too. So that's I find that interesting.
That's
that,
right.
there's crossover there with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my grandmother used to do this, and I found that at the time nonsense, but still intriguing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were younger, yeah, questioning all that.
But now you come, I was put on this path, and with the help of Janet, unfortunately we had to go our own way. She had to go and take care of her mom, who was going through the same thing as your mom. Yeah, so the mom is in a home now. So she almost lost her life, Janet. You know, by stress.
Yeah.
Always tired and getting sick because you're stressed out and sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you very, very well know.
Yes. Yeah. Uh-oh.
So because I couldn't stay there,
Yeah.
my business took me all over Ontario, and we decided we were going to split up in Mickleway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And then that's how I came to have yogi again,
I
because
see.
she took yogi while I was out
Yeah.
doing my thing. And then she decided that she couldn't take care of Yogi and her mother. So she asked me if I wanted Yogi back.
had Yogi
Yeah,
back.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long time before that hole heals. Yeah, because
I
he's
can
left
imagine.
a huge hole.
Yeah. Yeah. He was a good pal.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty well. You know.
So you really came full circle then, like
Oh.
you were away and then came back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all part of that growing up and having to find out things for yourself, you know, and not letting somebody dictate or do it for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great example of another thing that you've got to go away from it and maybe come back and
Yeah.
see that that's what's for you.
Yeah, and then maybe that's another reason why I teach the way I teach.
Right.
Is you do it for yourself, and if you make a mistake, well, my way of teaching is there's no right or wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, well, I did this wrong. Well, no, you didn't.
Mm-hmm. Did you learn the lesson?
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Did you learn a lesson? Yeah. And then we take it apart if you can, and just move on. If it doesn't look too bad, you just leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
But I want to show you a picture, and you might get a good kick out of that. I don't know if you want to pick that up on the camera, Dave.
I'll get that later.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, let me find it here. You're gonna laugh at that one. Corone, you're gonna laugh. So just give me a few minutes here
Sure.
because I got a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
I just gotta find it. And it's somebody that sent it to me. I think it was the Canoe Museum sent that to
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't how they got hold of that picture. I'll never know. But I'm about 14 years old in there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's an old one.
And I'm helping
In the book?
I'm helping my grandma.
Is that the picture in the book?
Maybe.
You said there was one of you in one of those Skidmark books.
No, that's not the one. Gidmark's books there, all it showed me was my hands and maybe the back of my face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not a direct on.
Yeah. Because he wasn't interested in taking my picture.
No.
No.
I think you were saying that one of the pictures was you, though.
Yeah. Which is kind of strange, but it is what it is. And I didn't mind not taking pictures for him. Because I got some pretty sad stories about this gentleman, which I shall not talk about. Because it's not good to talk about negative about people. And that's another thing as I try to instill, especially with the indigenous people, mostly the kids,
Yeah.
is our getting away from the 7 sacred teachings. You know, and I think the most important one would be the first one. In the Algonquin culture anyways, we start with love. Because without love you can't forgive.
Yeah.
And then if we apply the rest to our lives, and the next one that has the most meaning to me would be the last one, where it's truth. And I was told you have to know all the 6 before it to actually know truth.
Right.
Without truth, you can't heal. You can't move on. You can't reconcile. Yeah, and so that was a really important lesson for me.
Is that ever a poignant and important lesson right now, too, with everything that's gone on in the past few weeks?
Exactly.
With how much the truth is needed.
And another thing that I find important or ironic is so I was asked by the town of Smith Falls, how can we move on and drown or stop systemic racism? And how do we move on, especially when they found those first school on 215?
The first 215, yeah.
Well, I had to think about that for a long time, and I says I don't have any specific answer,
Yeah.
but the best answer that I could give at this point would be maybe we'll do more recommendations from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission.
Yeah.
And maybe another one is practice the 7 sacred teachings that were given to us. But what we know now with those teachings is that Creator gave that to all cultures.
people.
All cultures, yeah.
Yeah.
And I said maybe it's time that we bring these things back. And then we'd have that culture of peace my grandfather wanted so bad.
Yes.
Instead of a culture of war and hate and, you know.
And division.
And division.
Division.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's time that we come together as people, which brings us to the 7 fires prophecy. Yeah, because they say we're in the 7th fire now, and that's the time when we're going to be given the decision as humans to come together as one and put it all outside all our differences, and for the sake of the human race.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're just quickening our pace to extinction. Yeah, because when you think about it, Mother Nature doesn't need us. But we need nature to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's never so important as now. All these teachings are coming back, and this is like messages that are being told to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't help but see you where you're sitting right now and see the canoe behind you, and when I hear you say, you know, Mother Nature doesn't need us, we need Mother Nature, and I'm thinking of all of the tangible things that we learned with the build, but just, I think Lumina said it the best, just how with all of these pieces from nature, we made something. Like this was bark and wood and root and we put it all together, and then after the build was over, we're paddling it. Like, we
Yeah.
could have gone anywhere,
Yeah.
almost,
Yeah, yeah.
But to think, like, all of that is from nature, and I don't even have words for that. Like, I mean, and that's just the beginning. And okay,
Yeah.
somebody will say, of course, but I mean, you're not going to, we don't need birch bark canoes, everywhere these days, this, that, whatever. But you can fill in the blanks with anything that we're getting from nature right now, or for a house now. I mean, you need wood or whatever it is, but in general, just how it might not be a birch bark canoe that we need, but
Yeah. I think we're
so
at the
many
tipping point
things.
when it comes to like building materials.
Oh yes, exactly.
You know,
right now we're
Now
getting
we're going
some
to have to
lessons.
start thinking of alternatives.
Yeah.
Because the wood is in such deplorable conditions. I
Yeah.
mean, they're taking out trees like that to make 1 2x4.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
we
and it's
can't.
just
It's crazy.
yeah, it is. And another thing is the way I harvest sustainably. Unlike the rich culture, and they'll take it all if
Oh
they could.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's clear cut the whole works.
But I have to keep in mind then who down the line is going to want to use, and then it's up to me then to teach them that.
Yeah.
But maybe I can be kinder
Yes.
and then tell them where it is. Because I had friends too, like indigenous friends that wanted to go and take everything.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I says, well, what about this
yeah,
guy?
Down the line,
what
what about your kids? who
what
might
about your
wanna-
son? If he's going to be a canoe maker, well, he's going to need that.
Yeah.
Somewhere
The
down
tree
the
doesn't
line.
grow overnight.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like a birch tree that's that size there, and that's
Yeah.
like 90 years old.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so we'll be long dead and gone when the little one is like that, and it grows into a birch, big enough for a canoe.
Yeah.
And I says, so we have to always take into consideration the next 7 generations, after us.
Yeah.
And
That's all
so,
part of it.
that's all and that's part of natural law, they call it. Yeah, is you only take what you need, harvest sustainably.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so much more to learn.
Oh yes.
I'm surprised myself.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that makes me think too. You talked about how you learn from people on
Yeah.
the build, and I'm thinking, what lessons? Yeah, what do you take from a build? When you're doing this with people.
Oh my God. I mean, there's
Here you're
so
going
much.
from place to place to place to place, and
Yeah. Well, what I take the most is the things that I want to say teach them, but it's not really teach. It's just talk about engage the people.
Yeah.
And that's part of when I did that canoe trip. Started, as a matter of fact, we started here, and we paddled all the way to frickin' Ottawa, and it was James Raffin again that started this conversation through the Canadian Canoe Museum,
Yeah.
and it had to do with truth and reconciliation and getting to know the cultures,
Yes.
and the cultures on Turtle Island.
Yeah.
And then we started that conversation. It was just paddling. And then at night there'd be, we'd have food, and
Yeah.
and whoever wanted to go to the bar went to the bar, and I'd go to bed because it was a long day on the boat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the conversations that we were having around truth and reconciliation. Yeah. And so this conversation was asked of us to keep it going.
Right.
And so now I kind of, I guess, took it to heart, and it resonates inside of me. So I do what I can around the canoe builds.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, the most I get out of it
Right.
is the satisfaction that I'm keeping this conversation going. Yeah.
Yeah. And the connection with people and doing that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that
another
engagement.
thing too is I try and tie things to history.
Right.
Is when the first explorers came up the St. Lawrence, they can only go to the Lachine Rapids in Montreal, and then their big ships couldn't come through. So they had to befriend the Algonquin people,
Right.
because our territory went east of Montreal as well. So they would have to make friends with us in order to come further up
Right.
into the country.
The gateway into North America.
And
yeah?
there you go. And so then now it's a history lesson to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
not just about the canoe anymore.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then you take like Champlain. He came up and he couldn't get any further in Montreal. Made friends with the natives, and they took him on the canoe and brought him up the Ottawa River. At which point he had to meet Chief Tessawat. I don't know if you heard of Chief Tessawat.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and he was a fierce little chief, a hereditary chief again. And if he liked you, then you paid his toll and you went through. And
Right.
so I'm thinking Champlain must have impressed the crap out of him.
Right.
So he let the Champlain through, and that became known as the route for the fur trade now, after so many years, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And if you go up Ontario and you travel along the Ottawa River, a lot of French names are on the Ontario side,
Yeah.
as well as you may very well know yourself,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so that's all due to the birch bark canoe once again.
Right.
And so after a while, then they mimic that style, and then they start making their own. And then, you know, they always thought they can improve on it. Well, mind you, they can. But I mean, my canoe, if I take care of it, it's going to last me 150, 200 years.
Right. Exactly.
You know.
There's not a lot to improve on there.
No,
Yeah.
no. And so this is another, I find, important part of canoe building. Yeah.
All of the connecting pieces. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much there. Oh my goodness.
And the people, they don't know that, and it's like, yeah, really?
Yeah.
I go, well, yeah. And then when you talk about reconciliation through the canoe, you have to pause for a moment, and then I'll step in and say, well, it's not only reconciliation between cultures. It's within yourself as well. You know, it's with Mother Nature. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we all did something stupid in our life one time or another that we can't forgive ourselves for. And so we you know, reach deep down inside, and then you learn to forgive yourself. You reconcile with yourself. And then once again, that's where these sacred teachings come in.
Right. It comes back to that.
Yeah. And so by finally admitting the truth to yourself, you're free and you can move on.
Right.
Yeah. And then without love, you can't forgive. So you forgive yourself as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all
And
comes-
another way is look at it is you're helping connect your mind to your heart, so that when you do make an important decision or something very important, it comes from a loving place,
Right.
which is in your heart, not up here, because it harbors anger, right, in your mind.
Yeah. Mine can do all kinds of things.
There you go.
Yeah.
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 And so these are, I find, the important things that, I don't know, attract me to, or keep me doing
Keep you
canoes.
going.
Yeah, keep me going.
Because you're working really hard now at it. I mean, you're not just doing a couple builds a year. This is a full time.
Yeah, and it's
job.
funny because it went from one build to two builds, and now it's gotten to the point where I can't keep up.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I'm going to need a backup soon.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
But I
need
mean,
an
I'm not
assistant.
complaining. No way I'm complaining,
Yeah.
you know.
No.
No.
It's, yeah.
So if I can, as long as I can go and harvest the material, then I'm okay. I'll keep building them.
Yeah.
Frick, if I was rich, I'd be doing them for nothing. Just so we can have conversations like this.
Right.
You know, it'd be nice if there was a big bonfire going on, and you know. Yeah.
Personally found it so absolutely wonderful to hear Chuck talk about, you know, your feelings about the statues and stuff, because,
But they,
well, I mean,
But the statues.
evolution of the heart, you know, with the tearing down the statue, and, you know, it's all been very
What time is it now?
intense.
well, I've heard
A
many.
lot of Indigenous people are afraid to speak out because they'll be bashed. And but it makes it look as though that's the majority maybe, you know, when they get so much publicity. Yeah.
Well, I've heard both sides.
What's that?
I've heard both sides of that argument, and both sides are they're valid points. Personally,
Yeah.
I feel Sir John A. Macdonald was coerced by the church to do that, what he did. And then he appointed, what's his name, that Langevin, to be the actual one to come up with the system and the structure.
Chuck, I had another question for you, and it's a personal one, so you don't have to answer it. But I couldn't help but think when you were talking about your grandma, do you feel her with you when you're building or when you're out in the canoe?
I feel her, but I feel others too. Because when I start a canoe build, I usually try to smudge at the first, and then I ask my ancestors particularly my grandparents, to come and help and work their magic through my hands.
Yeah.
And well, never more so on this canoe though. You know, I have 4 helpers, and 2 are elderly, and I got one that's there once in a while because he works for the park. I mean,
Right.
or he works for the museum,
Yeah.
so he can only come in and out once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm 2 days ahead of schedule.
Right.
Yeah, so it's never more evident than now.
Yeah.
You know, and we've had no problems. Everything seems to be rolling.
Just you're in the flow.
And so now, once I'm done, I leave, then I gotta thank them, maybe leave some tobacco down, and then release them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we were doing the build, I remember thinking that at different points that there were, you know, there was more help than we realized, or, you know, someone said towards the end that they were aware that, you know, we had a lot of help and a lot of people watching us, and
Yeah.
it felt really good.
Well, I appreciate the fact that there was 80, 90% women.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of keeps you humble. But that's the humility in me. Hey, again.
Yeah.
But nothing like that kind of scenario to keep you humble, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
then
It was a good crew.
kind of practice what you preach.
Right.
Yeah, and then, I mean, I've had her. You know, this is how we do it.
Yeah.
Go do it. Do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we really learned, and I can say this for Lumina too, we really learned a lot of tangible skills, you know, and I think, I remember saying to you at the end, and I'll get a bit choked up, but we learned so much.
You're okay. Yeah.
It was like the tools, like you gave us the tools, and you gave us, I don't even know how to put it into words. Like, we learned a skill, you know, and I thought that was such a gift. But the other thing that, you know, that I said at the end was the gift you really gave us, and I say this as a person who grew up out of culture, who didn't know my background, who's coming, you know, from a, you know, partly Indigenous background. Just, you gave us back ourselves. You know, that was something that I had no idea until the end.
That wasn't me.
Yeah, I just went, wow, I had no idea when it was happening,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
until the very end. And then I kind of went, oh, that's what I got from this. I got an incredible skill set. Not that I'm going to go out and build one tomorrow, but all of the things that we can do with our hands. But then the other piece that I had no idea was coming, you know. So.
But this, you know, what I'm kind of sad about in a way is not being able to take you that kind of person, people,
Yeah.
in the woods to harvest.
Yeah. Yeah, to have
Yeah.
that full experience, yeah.
Yeah, maybe someday it might come, but up until that, I have to do what I'm being told to do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because first of all, I'd bring in only a select few. Yeah,
Of course.
and then maybe from there it'll grow.
And those are all the small pieces. And it's funny because I come full circle, like at this point now, and I think of the small pieces with, or thinking of my initial images when you started talking about kids, you know, that's how the kids learn too, right? All those pieces, and then they come together for such a beautiful thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And right now, a lot of people ask me, when's the best time to go and harvest? And if I get a bad vibe off you, I'll tell you it's during the black fly season.
Right.
And people know how miserable black flies can be, right?
Right.
And so that keeps them out of the bush.
Yes.
But,
Oh, we're really getting the secrets now.
yeah, truthfully, it is the best time to harvest root.
Right.
Not so much bark. Cedar, well, you can do that in the winter, but without root, you can't do nothing.
Yeah, nothing
Yeah,
else.
so during the black fly season, the root is so saturated with sap.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can literally grab it, squeeze it, and then debark it.
Right.
Yeah,
All right
and so
there.
that's the best time to harvest root.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a lie. It's,
Yeah,
it's not a
you're
lie.
right. Yeah, but it's
It's enough to
it's a
deter them.
select.
Yeah.
But you see who's really going to come. And
That's
who's
right.
not.
And then go a step further, I'll say that's the best time to harvest the birch bark.
Right.
But it's not.
That's
The best time to harvest birch bark is when the fireflies start.
Aha.
Yeah, and that's the sign for the native people.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wawatezi. Yeah.
And then that's the best time that the bark will come off the tree. And this is the kind of bark you'll get.
Right.
You won't get the winter bark, the ability to etch. And that comes before or after August.
Right.
Mind you, this is a good way to learn. And then you practice by small trees. You take off the winter bark layer. And then,
I've seen pictures of it, but yeah, someday.
yeah, someday.
Someday.
Yeah. And so maybe we can organize something one day. I don't know. I know this far south, spruce okay, but I hardly see any good cedar.
Yeah.
You know, even up north there's hardly any more good cedar.
Yeah.
I found a pocket there. It's like old growth. And I'm looking at 50-foot knot-free, twist-free gunnels. The gunnels, 50 feet long. And so I might get to fulfill my dream, which is to go and build the longest birch bark canoe. The biggest one in Guinness Book of Records right now is 36 feet.
Oh my gracious.
Yeah, so I'd like to go with 37, 40.
Oof.
So you can imagine the amount of bark I'm going to need there.
Yeah, quite a tree. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow.
Yeah. I could keep talking, but Michelle,
I
please.
wanted to kind of interject there
Yeah.
and say about the black flies, right?
Yeah.
We're all talking about harvesting and what we're taking and what we need, but sacrificing back to the black flies
Yeah.
is part of giving
Yeah,
back,
part of the
right?
circle, yeah.
And so it's like he's got himself a little grove of trees there that he likes, but
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so, you know, are we planting more? Are we nurturing more? Are we protecting more so that the next ones come up?
Can come up, yeah. I'm gonna let you sit here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Corone.
Oh, you're welcome. I could just talk and talk.
I know, and I could just listen and listen.